Well, they're obviously serious, the planetary crisis, which is why we are trying to get a greater awareness around them. Take climate change. We see it every day on the TV screens. Or biodiversity loss, ask your grandmother, because your grandmother will tell you how things changed from her time to yours. Or take pollution. Ask your grandfather or your grandmother again. Did they live with all the plastic waste? Did they have all these issues? The reality is that we are putting Earth under tremendous pressure. And so, no, the planetary crises are serious, but here's the good news. It's all in our hands. And so that's why I really enjoy speaking to universities, because these are young people who are stepping into the world in leadership positions, and they can help make these changes. Many of the current day politicians have had to learn about this, but young people know, because they've grown up with these things and are quite aware. They're also the ones who have to live with this the longest. That's why they are strong change agents. Not that my generation doesn't have a responsibility, we absolutely do. But the planetary crises are critical, and we're obviously working very much within the UN precisely to get to grips with them and to deal with these. I worry about everything, but I would start with climate change. Look, we are seeing more and more storms, floods, droughts, and fires, and changes that we didn't used to know. And we are not making the changes fast enough. We are changing in terms of our energy policy and our CO2 emissions, but the profile of change is way too slow. And so that means, therefore, that as we procrastinate, we are not getting the speed with which we need to make the change. So right now we need to make a shift of 48%, 47 to 48% in our carbon emissions profile, CO2 emissions profile, and that we're simply not doing. We're reducing by 2% a year. We need to go by 47. So we have a job to do, which is why the upcoming COP in Belém is so important, and which is why Brazil is putting so huge pressure on everybody to come with ambitious promises in what is called the National Determined Contribution. But I'm also worried about biodiversity, and I'm very worried about pollution. But these are more easily fixable, I would say, pollution, because we just simply need to clean up our act and live in circular economy. But on climate and biodiversity, these are significant shifts that we need to make. The high metabolism of our economic consumption has to change into a circular, out of the linear and into the circular. This high metabolism of wastage cannot continue. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the change. Thank you for being interested. Thank you for being the future leaders. You know, some of us have been on the front lines of shouting for change since I was the age of these future leaders here. And so it's a constant, but it's not hopeless. I don't want people to get anxiety over these things. It is about action. So I'm often asked, what gives me hope? I say, no, let's not talk about hope. We are determined. Determination to make a change is what we have to do. And that's what I see in the students at ORT, precisely because they are stepping into the world as future leaders in their countries, on the world stage, wherever they go. And that's very meaningful. So keep up the good work is what I would say.